Yep, we sure like our saloons here in Fairhaven. Howdy, Dirty Dan Harris here to tell you the tale of a mighty imposing edifice, now long gone, but once the pride of the Pacific Northwest. Folks say quite rightly I never set eye on the edifice since I left Fairhaven and was dead before it was built. But I've been keeping an eye on this place ever since. As for me, I showed up around 1852 or 3, been a long time, did some trading, real estate deals, and did quite well for myself, despite my reputation as a rather begrimed individual. I built the first Fairhaven Hotel in 1883, down close to the waterfront. A sturdy 3-story structure with a fine front balcony. But this story is about the hotel that was built in 1890 at 12th and Harris. Those were exciting times. You see, folks thought that the Great Northern Railroad was going to make Fairhaven its terminus. And there was quite a building boom going on. An artist named Bruce Wellington Pierce made a lithograph of a bird's eye view of Fairhaven in 1891 that is amazingly accurate. A few of these prints are still around. One can be seen in the lower level of village books. The building was 100 feet by 100 feet and quickly became the symbol of the new city of Fairhaven. Its imperial grandeur may have been inspired by John Ruskin's 7 Lamps of Architecture. It was built by Nelson Bennett and C.X. Larrabee for $150,000. A lot of money in those days. The design was Flemish gables, classical arches, and the harmonious use of red brick and gray chuckanut sandstone was enhanced by the elegant white verandas from which guests could view Bellingham Bay. The hotel had every modern convenience: a hydraulic elevator, gas and electric lights, gold and oak furniture with carvings, marble mantled fireplace, scenic paintings with golden frames. Why, it was the epitome of elegance. The dining room offered gourmet dishes with French names that were unheard of and mostly unpronounceable in this neck of the woods, but folks came from far and wide to experience the haute cuisine in the elegant surroundings. Many distinguished visitors frequented the hotel in the first few years. The Weekly World reported that the hotel complied with the rules of all first-class hotels. Register all without regard to race, color, or previous condition of servitude. In 1891, it looked like Seattle, not Fairhaven, was going to be the terminus of the Great Northern Railroad. That and the economic panic of 1893 made for hard times for the area. One bright spot in these tumultuous times was a visit by Mark Twain in 1895, who, after a stirring performance at the Lighthouse Theater, returned to the hotel, complaining of the infernal smoke that permeated our air. You see, in a zealous attempt to clear the land, great fir trees were burned carelessly. The fires illuminated the hills when you could see the hills. One visitor commented, "I feel I'm far west of Eden, much closer to Hades." The hotel had a few good years in the early 1890s and was refurbished in 1898 as Fairhaven's boom and bust days continued. It closed in 1899, but was reopened in 1902 and then in 1904. Shortly after the turn of the 20th century, the building was faced with cement and in size to resemble stone, losing forever the harmonious contrast of the red brick and chuckanut sandstone. It wasn't long before the upper balcony was removed, which in the eyes of many destroyed the proportions and scale of the building. Many people tried to buy the hotel at this time, but the deals fell through because CX, being a teetotaler, refused to sell it to buyers who wanted to sell alcoholic beverages. The Larrabee family were the sole occupants of the building until the death of CX in 1914. Later, the widow and her two youngest children moved to number 1 Hawthorne Road, now known as Laremont Manor. In 1922, the Yogurt Sanitarium opened, advertising, "If you are suffering with any stomach or nervous disorder, right now. We are successfully treating these ailments for people the world over. One could not only get rest, but a prescribed course of dieting using what they called a practically infallible cure, yogurt." The Hotel Victoria opened in 1923. Folks lamented over the change from its once elegant French cuisine to the fried chicken now offered in the dining room. The tower and front porch was removed in 1928, signaling the imminent demise of the once proud edifice. As a hotel, her best years occurred before 1893. The hotel closed for good in 1931. Let's go take a look at where the hotel once stood. J.J. Donovan. Well, he got here in 1888, just about the time I left. I hear tell he had a coal mine down in Skagit Valley. He did an awful lot for Fairhaven in its boom years. Thank you, J.J. Here we are, 12th and Harris, where she stood long ago. The Great Depression made for real hard times, and Fairhaven was no exception. In 1937, the Fairhaven Hotel was owned by Whatcom County. a quitclaim deed having been filed for a consideration of $1. About that time, workers from the WPA, Works Progress Administration, took residency in the hotel to repair the heat pump, electrical, and plumbing. Work was started to dismantle and remove the top floor and install a flat roof, doing away with the antiquated towers and decorative features of the building. What was left was a turretless, flat-roofed, 3-story utilitarian structure. About that time, a boys' club was started with an athletic room, a woodworking room, and a game and reading room. There's a local historian named Gordy Tweet who has a museum in the basement of the Fairhaven Pharmacy. He remembers those days.
When we were kids, we liked to go to the boys' club, and we liked to sneak in the building. And on the bottom floor, there were the 2 pool tables. One had been given by Mr. Kais, who lived out on the old Samish Highway, and I forget who the other one was. But and we even had a bathroom down there, so when we were down there, you know, we didn't have any problems. But the building was basically empty then. It was before the war had started at that time. Got really exciting around here when the war started because we had all this activity going on around here. And the soldiers came in on these big trucks, army trucks, and didn't have, they were called up from home, so they didn't have anything hardly. And my boss fortunately had a whole bunch of Gillette razors down there in a basement, which I dug up, and he sold them to the boys for 10 cents a piece because he was really happy to have them there. His boy had just been taken prisoner of war at that time. After Pearl Harbor, artillerymen from Fort Lewis encamped in Edgemore while constructing gun emplacements. On Christmas Eve, the 60 men were moved to the Fairhaven Hotel, carrying their army cots with them, glad to be out of the tents and the soggy hillside of Edgemore. In the 40s and early 50s, the building was used as a community center where club meetings and dances were held. On the night of July 26, 1953, the Carousel Club of the South Side was holding a dance. A little after 1 a.m., a fire started in an electrical junction box. Nearly 50 firemen rushed to the blazing building, and by morning the walls still stood, but the roof was gone and the 3rd floor was gutted. From the outside, the building didn't look like it had sustained much damage, but after the inspection by the fire department, it was recommended that it be demolished. Floor by floor, burning the debris as they went, it was demolished. In January 1956, a final dramatic photograph was taken of the hotel. A feller perched on the top rung of a ladder, leaning against the Harris Street entrance arch prior to its being pulled down, the last remaining portion of the old Fairhaven Hotel. This block of Chuckanut sandstone is what remains of the once grand hotel.
The rest of the rubble ended up in a place familiar to most folks today. Come on, I'll show you. Once the hotel was demolished, they took 117 dump truck loads and hauled it here to Boulevard Park. The grand old hotel lies under the grass here now. May she rest in peace.
Hello, my name is Rosamond Van Meert. This is my great adventure, the Fairhaven Hotel, and it was 5 years experience.